Everybody, last weekend was the 2025 Saudi Cup. The international press is saying it could have been the race of the century. Aaron, it featured arguably the world's best dirt horse and turf horse in a duel for the ages. How good was the race? How good were these two horses? And Aaron, you're here to tell us what we saw and go from there because you are a level-headed guy, and I feel you will just give it to us straight.
Yeah, look, I think this is definitely one of the top 5 races I've ever watched. I don't know if it's race of the century. There's so many good performances, but I text our buddy John White and I said, I think that may have been one of my top 5 or at least top 10 races ever. You don't see that happen very often where a horse gets passed by multiple lengths and then re-rallies and wins right at the wire. And you're 100 yards out from the wire and you're like, this horse Forever Young is re-rallying. You got the best turf horse in the world. You got maybe the best dirt horse in the world, at least one of the top 5. What's going to happen? And then, so close to the wire. So it's one of the top 5 or 10 at least that I've ever watched.
It's a legendary race. We're going to be talking about this forever. I think what it did, Aaron, honestly, was turned Forever Young into a legend. Don't you? Let's talk about the winner for a second. Forever Young, look, this is a horse who I think up to this point, people were polarized by him. Yes, there was no doubt he was a consistent good horse, but he hadn't had a moment fully like this. Like the moment he had closest was the Derby where he lost. He kind of needed to pull one of these off to just stamp his name as no more questions. Don't you agree, Aaron?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the problem why he wasn't, quote unquote, a legend, however you want to define that already, is because of the Derby and the Breeders' Cup. He didn't win them. Now the Derby, maybe, he should have. And the Breeders' Cup, hey, he ran really well, and it's not like he was embarrassing or anything like that. He ran great. But this is the race that I do think moved him from he's very good to, oh, he's a great horse. And so, listen, other than the United States races where he's 0 for 2, he's won every other race they've ever put him in. And so that says it all right there.
Let's talk about the runner-up to this horse, a Romantic Warrior. Now, honestly, Aaron, it's hard to follow international racing to the level that you can, only see so many times these horses come to the Breeders' Cup or this. The international press was saying this is the best turf horse on the planet. And we've seen when they try the dirt, these turf horses, right? We saw it with, City of Troy, and it can be disappointing. Those are so hard to tell. This horse was so phenomenal, wasn't he? What were your impressions of this horse? I mean, he ran too good to lose.
It was fantastic. It was an unbelievable performance. And you said it. Yes, he had earned over $22 million on the turf, but when they go to the dirt, sometimes that means absolutely nothing. And I was skeptical of how he would do on the dirt because it is such a tough thing to do. Not only did he handle the dirt, I thought he was exceptional. I thought he was just fantastic. So all the credit in the world to him. We should be sitting here talking about, hey, now this horse just won another $20 million race, and it was on the dirt. But, he got beat late. And they set a stakes record for this as well, which shows you, they were running pretty darn fast there. And Forever Young was just able to catch him. But, yeah, all the credit in the world to Romantic Warrior. He was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, he was on an 8-race win streak. He hadn't lost, I think, since 2023. Yeah, October 2023. I mean, this is an incredibly talented horse. Unfortunately, they don't seem to have plans to put him back on the dirt anytime soon, from what I'd been reading. Doesn't mean they won't. But so the question becomes, who is standing in Forever Young's way because he looks so good? Aaron, before I throw the 3 candidates at you, do you think running right now in the entire world, Forever Young is the best dirt horse out there?
No.
Okay, we're on the same page. So let's talk about it. I'm going to throw 3 names at you that I think could pose a threat to him. Let's start with the first one, Sierra Leone. Obviously, this is a horse who's beaten him twice. One time he should have been DQ'd. I get it, but he's beaten him twice. Last time they faced each other, it was the Breeders' Cup Classic. Aaron, do you still favor Sierra Leone if these two matched up?
I mean, I think you have to at this point because of what you just said. He's beaten him twice. And again, Derby for is what it is, but what's the excuse at the Breeders' Cup? He beat him easy. Sierra Leone pretty much was, 3-4, I don't know the exact margin right now off the top of my head, but he was 3 or 4 lengths behind him. You never thought Forever Young was beating him. So, yeah, at this moment, Sierra Leone, I would have to rank him better than Forever Young.
The next one for me, Fierceness, is a horse who's sort of, 1 for 2 facing him. One time was in the Derby where he was kind of a no-show. It was a very weird race. But next time he ran fantastic in the Breeders' Cup Classic, beating Forever Young. Do you give this horse a shot to beat Forever Young?
Absolutely, because again, he beat Forever Young in the Breeders' Cup Classic, and what was the excuse one way or another? And I understand that Fierceness did lose to Forever Young in the Derby, but Fierceness is a horse. If you followed him, he was erratic. He would either win or run so bad you couldn't believe it. But they got that worked out, and he put together 3 phenomenal races over the summer into the fall of the Breeders' Cup. So again, I would have to rank Fierceness ahead of Forever Young until proven otherwise. I think if they both fire their best race, it has been proven Fierceness is a little bit better.
Dude, I'm totally with you. And it's very exciting because there's one other horse in the United States for me who at his best is so electric, so exciting. And I just kind of want to see what happens. And I want your take. White Barrio at his best, Aaron, because I know he's an inconsistent horse. What do you think about that matchup? Would you give him any chance against Forever Young?
You know, at his best, White Barrio, I think might be right there with Forever Young. I would rank Forever Young ahead of him. I think even when White Barrio fires his best race, Forever Young, Sierra Leone, Fierceness, they might just be a little bit better than him, but he's in the realm. He's also very, very inconsistent. So we'll see what happens when it comes to that. But yeah, I mean, his best race puts him right there, but I would rank the 3 horses we just talked about a little bit higher than White Barrio.
It's worth bringing him up too, because he was ranked #1 in the United States recently. So, you know, like the point is, guys, one thing is certain. If all these horses stay healthy and meet up again in 2025, Aaron, could we be looking at one of the best years for the older division we've seen since we followed racing?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the Breeders' Cup Classic, if those 4 are in it, you really don't need much else, right? And that's not, you know, we may get a 3-year-old that's really good. We may get a couple, you know, so it's a long way to November. We'll see what happens. But yeah, right now, it looks like one of the most exciting divisions that there is. And it should be an amazing Breeders' Cup if they all can kind of stay healthy.
Well, we'll stay tuned for that, guys. Do not miss this year. It's off the hook. Wow. I cannot wait to see how this racing year shapes up, especially, Aaron, now that we've just seen what people are saying is the race of the year, and it might not even become that by the end of the season. So stay tuned, guys. And wow, what a season ahead of us.